Hi, I'm Jackie. Welcome to our Cozy Haven Book Club.
Hi, I'm Ashley, and we're excited to have you. This week, we're going to be chatting about the life-changing magic of tidying up, chapters three through five,
Yeah.
which is the last chapters of the book. So we're going to finish up this book, and then we have another book we'll tell you all about at the end.
Yay.
Yay!
We're doing a great job.
It's been fun.
Yeah, I've really liked this book. I know like I had never read it. Ashley has read it before and she's the one that recommended it. And I keep texting her like I'm doing this and I'm doing that and like my mindset is changing and I really liked this book. I just expected it to be about tidying, which it is, like it is, but it's like a whole mindset about just how you see your house and your possessions and like
Yeah.
yeah, there's a
I feel
lot
like
that
it's, I feel like the mindset part is like our bread and butter too.
yeah, I mean, I love like anything that's gonna help me like grow my mindset, like not just change it, but just like grow in like a better way. I'm all for it. I love it. I love the growth. And so we both do. That's why we started this. So it's kind of the perfect book for us.
It's so interesting too because I feel like we know our own mindset and how we think. So it's interesting to read how someone else thinks, especially like on this
Yeah.
one subject of tidying up. Like, who knew there was this much that came with it? And of course, there's different methods, there's different ways, but this is like specifically her way, and it's insanely amazing.
Yeah. And at first I was like, how is this going to be different from like just going through and tidying my like I don't know, my house or like I've normally done, but it is really a totally different mindset. Like normally it's very much like what do I want to get rid of? And then she is very much like what do you want to keep? Like what makes you feel happy when you're holding it, when you're looking at it? Like it's just different. Like that's not what you focus on normally when you're getting rid of things, I feel
Like
like.
a positive spin on cleaning. Like I feel like we're always so negative with cleaning. We're like, oh, ugh. And I think that's something we've been trying to achieve is like a more positive, like how do we look at like a positive mindset?
Yeah. And she takes it like really far. I know like getting kind of into the end of it, but I was finishing chapter 5 and you know she's talking about like thinking your house and all this stuff and we'll get more into it, but I think some people would roll their eyes at that and I get it, but I'm just like, huh, like it makes you really think. Yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah.
Jackie, like she said, she's been doing amazing. Like literally, I'm like every day, it's like I clean this part of the room. I threw this many trash bags out. Like we've talked about the last episode, like when we record the last episode for this, like it's been really hard for me just because we just moved. I'm pregnant. I don't know what to do with half my stuff, but like my mother-in-law's here and we just went through like the baby's closet, opened some boxes, got some stuff done, we reorganized the shoes, and we like bought something like to store. And also was like thinking like it's such a luxury to be able to organize your house a certain way and like have the things you want. Like we don't all have that luxury. So I like also how simple she makes it. Like it's not
Yeah.
a luxury in her head. Like you can use anything. You can use a shoebox. You can use like all these different things. So I think it's like her mindset and like she's just like, just do it. Like you'll figure it out.
Yeah. Just like keep it simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think I've gone through all of my personal belongings, which I know in the book. Is that in chapter 3? How she talk? I think that's in chapter 3. She talks about like starting with all of your belongings first before going into like like the other stuff in the house, the kitchen, like all that stuff. Like she talks about like you going through your own things. And I'm pretty sure I've gone through all of my own belongings thus far. Yeah, I can't think of anywhere else that I have like my own stuff that I haven't gone through. Like our whole closet, even up top. Because at first I went through the clothes, but I hadn't gone through like the stuff up top. I had like hats and scarves. Like we don't really use scarves in Florida that much, but I had them. But yeah, I like went through everything. All of my jewelry I went through, I think yesterday. Just
I love
all the
it.
things.
All the
All the
things. Do you want to start off with your chapter three notes?
Sure, let's do that. Okay. Okay, so she starts out with clothes. And I think I said this in the last video, but I have watched her series on Netflix. Marie Kondo has a series. I think it's still there. I have not looked recently, but um, she talks about folding clothes. And that's when I started folding my clothes like she did. Like this was probably a few years ago. And so she talks about putting clothes so that they're vertical in the drawer. I almost feel like I should bring my computer over and like show what I'm talking about. But like you put them in, they're not laying flat like on top of each other like like a pile. They're this, like, instead of being this way, they're this way. And they're all along the drawer like this. So you could see every single shirt. And so I have folded my clothes like that. Except I know, like, I was reading through and she's talking about the piles and stuff. And then I went in my closet and realized, like, I had my shorts and my jeans in a pile. And so I turned them
It over.
and I was like, oh, look, I can see them all. Like, you just can't see things when they're in a pile. But I just went through and redid all of Glenn's, all of Glenn's clothes. And he's like, oh, like I forgot I had that shirt because it was like in the back, like underneath all the things. And I'm like, I know, like you can see stuff. And she talks about how when you fold them properly, that it obviously like keeps the material stronger. She says it stays like more vibrant. Like she's very much about like treating your possessions in a very respectful way. And I just really liked that. Like I like thinking about the things that make me happy that are here, like respecting them in that way. So, yeah, I went through and did that, and I giggled so hard, like probably out loud, when I read about how she talked about socks. And she talked about, because exactly how she talked about socks is how I fold the socks. Like you put two together, you pull one down over the other, right? It's like a little package.
Yeah.
She called them little potatoes rolling around in the drawer. And I was like, that's literally what they look like, little potatoes rolling around. I'm like, how else would you put your socks in there? And she puts them on top of each other and folds them once or twice or however many it needs to be to fit in there. And I was like, that just seems like overkill, right? And then I was like, I'm curious. So I went over and I folded all of my socks like she did. And they're all sitting like up like this in their little rows. Dude, it makes me so happy to open my sock drawer now. Like that seems so ridiculous, but I swear to you, I open my sock drawer and I'm like, look how pretty all the little socks look in there. I did not fold my underwear, I'm not gonna lie. Like it's just all in a pile in there. Like there's just
It is
only
what
so much.
it is.
Yeah, but the socks, there's no more little potatoes. I even unfolded all of Glenn's and Gavin's and Pierce's, all their little socks are in a little whatever you want to call it. I don't know. So I don't know. It's just I really thought it was silly when I was reading it, and I was like, that's just ridiculous. But it really, and it takes up less space. I thought she was crazy when she was saying it would take up less space because I was like, I don't see how it's going to take up less space, but there's more space in there now. So I don't know. She's got something going on there, in my opinion.
Feel like you need to put some pictures in the Herman Haven like Facebook group so we can check it out, all your progress. We need to see
Yeah,
the
that's a good
walk.
idea. I will do that. I will do that. I also liked that, like, she was talking about clothes and she was like, pick the things. What did she say? I wrote it down. She said, pick them as if you were identifying the ones you loved for a showcase for a store. Like, I think that we tend to be like, well, maybe I'll want that one day, or like maybe I'll wear that one day, or like I used to like it, but when you really think about like, would you put it on and really like it? Like, would you feel really good in it? And so I said in the last video, but like I did do that. I put on every single piece of clothing because I wanted to see if I actually felt good in it. Like my body's changed a lot over the past whatever. I've had clothes, some of my clothes for a long time that I haven't been able to fit into since I got pregnant the first time that now I can fit into. So, um, yeah, I really did think about it like that. And she was talking about don't keep clothes. She said, to me, it doesn't seem right to keep clothes we don't enjoy for relaxing around the house. Don't discard old clothes as like loungewear. Like, don't just be like, oh, I don't really wear this anymore, so I'm going to put it in the loungewear. Like, just wear, like, keep things that you're going to be comfortable in sitting around the house. It just kind of like,
Made sense.
yeah, like reset my mind frame. And also, I've been trying to actually get dressed this year, like, not just wear active wear all the time. And so I'm like, okay, would I actually want to like hang out around the house, like
Well,
cleaning and stuff in it? Yeah. When she was talking about books, or moving on, uh, she said to take them out, which I didn't take them out and put them on the floor. I'm not gonna lie, but I did like really look at them and like be like, do I really need this? And so, like I was saying, I like her mindset, not just for this, but like just I'll explain. So she was saying in the book how maybe you have books that you never read, like you purchased them and you never read them, or maybe you have books that you only half read and you're like, well, maybe I'll read them later. And because that was always my mindset. I paid for it, right? Like I bought it, so maybe I will read it later. But she's like, maybe you needed to buy that book to read half of it, and that was its purpose. That was its only purpose, and it's okay to let it go. And I've just noticed that, like, how hard of a time I thought I was pretty good at letting things go, if I'm being honest. Like, I feel like I don't keep a ton of things, but it is surprising how many things I've been able to throw away. And it's because of things like that. And that's just one example of the books. But, there's just so many things that you're just like, but I paid for it. Maybe I never wore that piece of clothing and it still has a tag. I feel bad getting rid of it, but does it make you happy? Like, does it bring you joy? If no, then why do you have it? So I loved that, and it's really been helping me, that mindset around everything in the house. And honestly, it's like a really good life lesson too. Like, you know. And I did have my Harry Potter books like in a pile, and I moved them vertically
I love it.
bookshelf. So I did get rid of some books, and I got rid like I have like on my bookshelf I have other books too. It's not just like reading books. I have like a watercolor whatever pad of paper and like my journals and things. And I was texting Ashley and I was like, I got rid of stuff so that I could have a spot, have a home for my journal and my daily planner and like my little pen case that I keep. Like it was just like floating around the house because I'd use it, every day. But now like I'll use it and put it back.
Hmm.
Even though I'm gonna get it like later that day, I'll still like I put it back. Even my iPad. Like I have a little spot for it. Like I put it over there. I don't know why I didn't have spots for these things, but I didn't. So now they have a home. And I think it was it chapter 3 where she talks about everything needs a home? I don't know if that was chapter
I
3 or
think it might have
chapter.
been even, I don't know if it was chapter 3 or chapter 4.
I think it was chapter 4, but regardless, I did that. Papers. Oof. I'm so glad I read what she wrote about papers because first of all, I don't like papers. Like I won't say I hate them, but I just very much dislike papers, which is funny because like I like writing in a paper journal, but like papers that you get in the mail or just like random documents, like I dislike having to go through any of that stuff. But I never know what I need. And in the book, she's like very freeing when she talks about papers. She's like, you just probably don't need it. Like,
Like,
let's like
honestly.
your home deed or like your car, like whatever. But like most of the things that we keep, like we don't need them. I had like random receipts from the car, like taking the car to like the shop, and like what else did I have in there? I don't even know. Like really old tax documents, like really old, like all sorts of stuff. I got rid of so many things. And you know what else I had that I found in my closet when I was going through the office closet? She talks about like uh the things you get for like the TV comes with like a what is it called? Manual? Like a
Yeah,
manual.
how to use it.
Ashley. I had two binders this thick from years ago when I made these and I forgot about them because they're in the office closet, like at the bottom, like in the back. Two binders. I didn't even look through it. I just took them and threw them in the garbage bag.
You're like, you gotta go, honey.
Like Marie Kondo says no.
He said, uh-uh.
Yeah, because these days everything can be found online anyway. Like every single manual you can find online or the answers online. Like I've never looked at those. Clearly, I forgot they were there. So anyway, she was very freeing when she talked about like just getting rid of it. And I have like the file folder
Mhm.
bins, like this big. And so I would have like a different folder for like each thing. And she's like, no, just like lump it all together. It should be a small pile because you really shouldn't be keeping that many things and just keep it together. So I did that. I just, except for there was like a few things that I had separate, but basically it's like one random important documents folder. Boom. There it is.
Boom.
Yeah. We used to have actually three of those file. Why? I don't know. But now we have one. So go me.
Go, go, Jackie. Go, Jackie.
I should have counted like how many bags I've thrown away. I didn't. I don't know. It was
You
basically,
just have to scroll back for our text.
oh, that's true. There was like four from the office closet. I don't know. There's just been a lot. I think the rest of it is like just miscellaneous stuff that she was talking about, sentimental things. I still have to go through the photographs. She was saying five, you keep five photos per day of a special trip. That was like what she recommended. It's just hard for me to get rid of that kind of stuff. Like sentimental stuff, it's so hard. Like the boys will bring home artwork, and I'm like, I don't want to get rid of
That's
it.
the hardest. You're like, what do I do with this cute artwork?
I know. So I went through that the other day and I tried to keep ones where it had like their handprint on it or something, just so that I could like have some sort of like measurement. I felt like that was productive, but I need to go through all the pictures still. I haven't done that yet because she was like, if you have them in a box, and I was like, stop trying to call me out, Marie Kondo.
She knows
All
it. It's like she reads your mind.
no, she just knows. Like all of my pictures are in those picture boxes. I have two of them. There's more than that, but I have two of those, and I have a couple, uh, whatever picture. And do I ever look at any of them? No,
You just have them.
no. And I probably have majority of them on my hard drive too. So it's like I don't know. I don't know.
They're
There's just
hard to get rid of though, like she said.
it's a whole process. Like it really is like a whole process to get rid of all this stuff too. Um, and like gifts was on there, like gifts, things that people had given you, and that's also like hard for me to get rid of because I'm like, but this person like thought of me enough to like get me this specific item, but
Right.
also maybe it was just for that interaction, of them giving it to you and having that moment. It doesn't mean that you have to keep like that item forever. You can still remember the moment.
Uh,
So it's been really helpful. It's been very eye-opening.
I'll read my little paragraph that I wrote in my notes. So Jackie organized it like super like by like section, and I just combined all my notes into one paragraph. So everyone sit tight. We have a paragraph to read, but it summarizes my thoughts on everything. I love how we started with clothes and it gets harder from there. I love the idea of only keeping things that bring joy. For clothes, I like how she wants to make a big pile. It's so true. If you fold it right out, right, your storage problems will be solved, which I love that she talks about because like if you're just shoving clothes in, like you don't have any room to put anything.
Very true.
And I always lay things flat, but I need to try her suggestion of laying things standing up, which I know works. I just my
So
brain.
good. While you're talking, I'm gonna move over there so I can show you what I mean on. Go
She's like, I can't wait to show you on the group. She's like, I need to show you now. I love it. I love her excitement. I always
Actually, I'll wait till you're done and then I'll go.
It's up to you. So as I was saying, sorry, I had to figure out where I was. Lost my train of thought there. I already love category in my closet. Like I love putting my like I do winter and summer. That's usually how I do it. And then I like divide it by the categories in winter and summer.
Mhm.
So, but I love the idea that she's like, it only takes 10 minutes, like in reality. And like I need to still do my closet. So I feel like her just like telling you, hey, it takes 10 minutes, like she's getting you in that mindset. Like she's not just like, go do it. She's like, hey, it's only gonna take you 10 minutes, like no big deal, you got this.
Yeah.
And then next up was books. So I love this order again. Like the order is just so simple. Like it's building up to the harder things.
Yeah.
And it's so smart to just feel it and not read it. Like that was a big thing. I feel like a lot of times when you're trying to give away books and stuff, you're like, oh, let me just see it. Like if I were like this book. No, just feel it, look at it. Be like, is this a good book? Do I want to keep this or not? And I feel like I moved with so many books, and all these books probably like could just be like donated at this point. Because honestly, they're all like old poetry books about like love and all these things. And I'm like, I'm in a happy, healthy relationship. Um, and then it's true. I honestly like I haven't read, and I honestly haven't read some of the books that like I've kept. So like, do I really need to keep it? No. So just to keep books for some time is a waste because most of the time it does you don't need it. Next she went up to papers. I should probably throw them away like she suggested, maybe only keep what papers I need now. I have papers everywhere, so I need to do better to keep them in one place, which is something she talks about a lot too. So everything should be in one place. One place. Again, keeping things because you love them, not just because it's such a is such like not just because like you think you need it or whatever, is such a beautiful idea. We all keep things just because, like we're like, just because maybe I'll need this one day. Just because this. Like, no, like if you don't need it, you don't need it. Like like I mean honestly, let's be honest. Like let's say you throw away a tax document from like 3 years ago. I'm sure you can find get it again. Like it's not replaceable, most of these papers.
Yep.
So the way she presents it is the way conveys someone's feelings, but it's not. Sorry, I'm like reading my notes. I did not spell correctly. I wrote these so fast. um, okay, so the way she says presence is the way someone like is conveying someone's feelings, but it's not a thing. It's truly like I like that. Like she's saying like, getting a present from someone is just someone showing their feelings for you, but it's not a
Yep.
thing. It's not an object. Like you should look at it as like this is something someone was conveying their feelings for, right? Um
Devotion.
and yeah, and then like I've never thought about it like that. Like I'm like, oh, this person gave me like this nice
Yeah.
thing, right? Ugh. And then another thing is this made me laugh. The mysterious chords, they will always remain mysterious because I probably move with a few of them and I probably like don't need them. And I'm like, just like, well, maybe if I need them again, just because. Why are we keeping it just because?
I threw away a ton of cords.
It's just like, why? It's replaceable. They're chords. Like, another thing she talked about is like how we should treat like we all just kind of have coins everywhere, and like we should be treating them like cash instead of just like letting them lay around. Like, I literally have, and I laugh about this, but like I have like coins in every single one of the doors in like my car. Like, why do we need that many coins? Just put them somewhere, do something with them. She also
Yeah.
says like I don't remember which chapter it was, but like she says like you don't need to put them like in a piggy bank. Like, just use them.
Yeah. Yeah. Go to a coin star. That's the whole thing. I think
Yeah,
it's
or take them to your bank.
the amount of the we have a gallon size
Oh my
bag
God.
of coins.
We just
Why? I don't know.
we
They
have
weren't mine. They were Glenn's,
just
but
gotta cash them out.
yes.
I keep okay, so I love keeping sentimental items. Like that's just me. Like I have memory boxes on memory boxes. But she's right. Like the memories won't vanish even if I discard the item associated with it. And honestly, like how do I like I didn't organize my stuff like, okay, this memory goes with this. Like it's literally in a box. So like what am I doing with this?
Yeah.
Right? I truly believe what she was saying is we can't live in the past, even if it was like amazing and joy and the excitement we feel now are more important. Like, I think that's so, like, this is what she was talking about, like, sentimental items. Like, it's more important to live in the moment. Like, you don't need to live in the past with your items.
Yep.
I laugh again about when she's saying like sending you home a box, like you're never gonna look at it again because I literally have a box of memories at my parents' house, like this huge box, like one of those like storage containers, and I literally I'll look at it like when I go home in my parents' house, but I've never taken any of that with me. So what is the point of it, right? And like if you go to my parents' house, like I literally have to, my parents remind me every day or all the time, like I'm like moved out of their house like 6 years ago. Like, you haven't cleaned your room yet. You haven't cleaned your room yet. And my mom started cleaning my room. And I'm like laughing because when I looked at my room last, it was like a time capsule from 2019. Like, the 2019 calendar was still even up.
Oh,
Like, right? Like, you don't need it. Like, you're not. Like there are still sweaters and vests there. Like I'm never gonna take them home. Why am I like keeping them, you know? Um, so I need to put my past in order to move forward. I love how she says that. Like that's so important. Like you can't move forward if you're just living in the past with like items you got from high school that you're like, well, but it has a sentimental value. It's did its purpose. Move on.
Yeah.
And she's right, when you get letters, the purpose is fulfilled when you get the letter and you read it. I love that so much because we're like, oh, I need to keep it as a sentimental item. No, the point of the letter was it's a letter. You read it, it did its job.
Yep.
And then I'm thankful for the keepsakes because it says I have the memories, but maybe it is time to move on. And I can't wait to get to the point of tidying where I start knowing how much is right for me. That was another thing she said. Like, you will get to the point of tidying so you know what's right for you.
Yep.
That's my chapter 3 notes. I don't know if any of that made sense, but here we go.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll show you. Uh-oh.
A little adventure of Jackie.
A little adventure. Okay, so you see how they're standing up? So you
Looks
can like
so good.
you could take one. They're really stuffed in there though. This is Glenn's shirts. Here, let me see. I'll show you. Can I show you this? Okay. These are like my shorts and my sports bras, honestly. But they're all just like up. Hold on, I'll show you my socks. Look, look. Doesn't that make you happy?
So if you're listening to this podcast, go watch it because you need to see all this. It's so pretty.
Doesn't that make you happy?
We love it.
Pretty bookshelf. I have my books and I have like stuff like look, this stuff, those are like my tripods, and I have a like a lap desk that Glenn got me because sometimes I'll sit in bed and journal or whatever. And it was like on the floor, but she talks, I think this is maybe chapter 4, but she talks about taking it, or maybe it's chapter 3, off the floor, like anything that you can, like taking it off the floor. And
Uh,
so I made a little spot.
it has a
But it's not
home.
on the floor anymore.
Has a little home.
It has a home. Everything has a home.
Uh, yeah, I think it was chapter 4 she talked about home and storage, which you're about to get into.
So chapter 4, that's when she talks about designating a place for each thing. So like everything having a home. And that's something that I always kind of knew I needed because when I'm trying to, especially when I'm trying to like clean the main part of the house, if I can't easily be like, pick something up and know where it's going to go, like where it needs to sit, then it's an issue. Like you should be able to pick something up and be like, I know exactly where this needs to go. And if you don't, then that's definitely something that like we need to work on because it's so hard to keep your house clean when you don't know exactly where something should go. That should be like a clear spot. And so I've had to do that for like the toys, especially because they're everywhere. And so I want to be able to pick it up and be like, okay, this needs to go here. Like this goes there.
Mhm.
Like there's a spot for it. We don't just shove it in a drawer. Like there is a spot for all the things.
It has a
Um,
home.
yes. So that was what a lot of chapter 4 is about. She said there's a high chance of clutter happening if you don't have a place for each item. She goes as far as emptying her purse, right? Each time that she comes home, she empties everything out of her purse. And I forgot exactly how she talked. I don't even know if I wrote it down about like because the way she talks about everything is like respecting her belongings. And so for like okay, for the socks, I didn't talk about this, but the reason that she doesn't ball them up is because she first of all like the elastic will get really pulled and like worn out faster, but like it wears out the material faster. And so
Mhm.
she believes that about all of the things. And so for her purse, she's like, the purse doesn't want to have to carry things 24/7. Like it needs a break. And I was like, okay. Um, to each their own, but she has a spot for everything in her purse, comes out and she knows exactly where it's going to go. And I did that today though. I took a different bag than I normally take to Disney today, like a backpack.
Mhm.
And so when I got home, I was like, okay, I'm going to empty out my backpack rather than like letting it sit out there for however long because I forget about it. And I'm going to take it out and I'm going to put everything back where it goes. And I knew where my magic band went because I cleared out my little thing with all my jewelry. So I have a spot. Like I just knew where everything went. So it's just really nice to have a home. I'm not going to say I do that for like my normal purse that I always bring around, but I don't know. It's just nice to be able to like know where it goes. Um, and you kind of already said storing everything of the same type in the same place because when you have too many places, then you get confused. And when you're confused about where something goes, you're not going to keep it tidy. Like you're not going to keep it clean because you're going to have to use your brain power, even if it's for a few seconds, to be like, where does this go? Does it go here or there? Because there's papers here and there, you know? So it gets
Right.
confusing. So she talks about that. She talks about sorting your own things before you start doing everything else in the house, which is what I did. And then she also talked about how you don't store things based on where it's easier to take them out. So I think she had talked about a couple that she helped with their home, and they were keeping the remote like in a certain place because when you're watching the TV, it's easy to like grab it. And she's like, "Well, no, like you need to have it where it's easiest to like put back." And so I thought of like shoes. Like sometimes we'll keep shoes like out there because it's easiest to grab them, but like it's not clutter free. Like there's not a specific place. They're just like in a random spot. So now like all of my shoes go back into my closet, like where my shoes are. I don't know. I know that like it sounds like a normal thing in theory, but I know that so many of us are keeping things in random spots for convenience purposes and not because it's like the place they need to go, but just because it's easiest to be like, oh, I'll grab that.
Uh-huh.
So, right? I don't know. Did I explain that right? I don't know. It made sense in the book. Uh, that's when she talked about storing things vertically, which I already showed you my beautiful socks. Because yeah, when things are at the bottom of a pile, especially in a drawer, you cannot see them. So you probably have shirts. Like this used to happen to me until I figured out how to do the vertical thing. Like I'd have shirts. So in our drawer specifically, I would have like a pile of shirts here, a pile of shirts here. So you'd have to open the drawer. I'd have to dig under that like pile that's way back there, and I couldn't see half of my things. So anyway, storing them vertically, 110% recommend it. I've been doing it now for a few years, and it's a game changer. Um, she said she even stores her carrots like standing vertically in the drawer of her refrigerator. I'm interested. I'm down to try new things. I haven't tried that yet, but I'm interested. What else? And then you touched on just using things around your house for storage, shoe boxes. She said like the boxes that I luckily I don't keep them, but the boxes for your like phone, like your Apple iPhone and things, or your iPad, like they're really sturdy boxes. So she's like, you could use those to put in a drawer if you need like a separator or like a way to store something. So that's such a good idea. We have little boxes all the time. Um, the one thing she did say that I do is bags inside of other bags, like storing bags inside other bags. I already do that in my closet, and it's a game changer. I have certain bags that I use every month or so when I go down south, and so I just store them all inside of each other, and then I just take them all down and I have them all to like put stuff in. So I already do that. Something that I feel like I could aspire to, but I don't know that this will ever be me, is after she showers, she dries off like her shampoo and conditioner bottles and whatever soap, whatever she uses in the shower, she dries them off and puts them away in the cabinet. And I love that for her. I don't know that that will ever be me, but I love that for her. And it is true though that like it builds up like
It gets
a
icky.
slimy. It's true, but still. And then like the soap on the sink she talked about, like my soap is currently on. It's fine. It's fine. You know, to each their own. But I love it. I love that she is like just so tidy, and that's amazing. Maybe one day I'll be able to do that. Oh, I did clear off my kitchen counters though. Mostly, not like totally, but like mostly. Like there were things that we just keep on there, and I'm like, why? Why did we keep it there? So I took them off.
Yay.
Just because of convenience. Oh, okay, here's a good example of the convenience thing because I feel like I didn't give it very much justice. So our salt and pepper, we use them every day. multiple times a day probably because we cook a lot at home. So all of our spices are inside of our cabinet. There's a whole little like tiered thing that I had gotten years ago, and so you can see them all because we have deep cabinets. But our salt and pepper sits on the cat on the cabinet or on the counter, whatever, because it's convenient for us to grab them easily, right? But like they don't belong there and they don't need to be there. It's just convenient to have them there. But it takes the same amount of time, basically, like what, 1 second longer to open the cabinet because it's right next to it and put it in there. So I'm like, no, we're putting our salt and pepper back in the cabinet where it goes. So I've been doing that. But yeah, I clear because it's easier to also she says like for practicality purposes, it's easier to clean your home when it's easier to wipe down your counters when there's not things all over your counters, right? It's easier to clean your floors when you don't have to move a bunch of stuff around. That's why she doesn't want to keep things on the floor because it like hinders you from wanting to keep your home cleaner because it is a barrier, right? To like keep it clean, which is true. It's true. So I'm trying.
You're doing amazing.
One step at a time, but I'm trying.
You're doing
That was
amazing.
basically chapter 4 notes.
You ready for my chapter 4 notes? Another little paragraph written by me with my terrible spelling.
All right, let's do it.
I agree. I agree having a specific place to keep things is giving everything a spot and everything needs a home or things will get messy again. Like I've always had this belief that everything just needs a home. I think that's just like how my brain works. Like if it doesn't have a home, like it just like it's not happening. My belongings should fit in my space, so I should choose my belongings properly. Like I love that concept. Like all your belongings will fit in your space. You just have to figure out what belongs there.
Yeah.
I love a simple storage like method, like she says, like just something easy. Like I don't need something over the top. I will say I'm not really into the box thing. Like it's just not aesthetically pleasing for me.
Here in Florida, it's really hard because cardboard attracts what are those little bugs?
Roaches.
Oh, maybe roaches too, but what, silverfish?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like everywhere, but I know in Florida we have them. And so
Uh-huh.
I don't tend to keep cardboard anywhere in the house. But anyway, sorry.
Well, I just feel like too, like I feel like if it's aesthetically pleasing, like I'm more likely to like
It's
put it
true.
away. So
I know.
I feel like that is just not my thing, but like I love the simple storage thing because
Yeah.
like I said, if I it's simply easy, I can do it. Um I truly don't know how much I own. That's probably why there's so much clutter, like she says. Like, I don't realize it until like you're really going through and you're like, oh, la di da.
Yeah.
I need to get better at having everything stored in one place. For example, I currently my ponytails have 5 homes. I know this is so much, and it makes it harder to find them. Like literally, I'm like, where's that gray one? Where's that black one? Like I know I own these things. I just have to find them.
Yeah.
I also like living with Matt, I agree it's important to have like separate spaces. Like I think that's so important. Like just like this is mine, this is yours. Like it makes it easier even. I think sometimes I neglect to return stuff back to their home. So I agree it could cause that clutter also.
Mhm.
And I know clutter can come from too much effort to put it away or unclear where it's home, like she says. Like if it doesn't have a home or you're unclear, like you're just gonna make a bigger mess. I feel like that's like all the papers and all the stuff right now, like on the counter. I'm like, where does it actually belong? Should I keep it? Like, you know? Um, I would like to get in the habit of unpacking my purse, not because I'm switching it, but also because I always find stuff I left in there that I don't need. Like I'll go babysit and my charger will then live in my my purse for like a week because I needed it for babysitting. But I'm done babysitting. Or like the other day, we went to the DMV to get driver's license, which my driver's license did not happen, but that's okay. And I didn't have the right paperwork. And we were going somewhere else the next day, and I was like, oh, I don't think I need my social security card and my other paperwork in my purse right now. So, like, just I feel like unpacking is such a simple thing. And I used to have, like, when I lived in Florida, I had like a little tray. I would put like a little basket near like my purse where I would put everything. So that way, like, it was easy to grab and go. And I love that concept, and I want to get back into that. So, something I asked for because we don't have it currently is a place to put my purse. Right now, my purse lives on the floor, and I really don't like it. Like, it's actually superstition to keep your purse on the floor, I've heard, but like, it also just doesn't feel good, right? Like, my purse should have a home.
Yeah.
So, and I love the idea of treating your belongings well, and they will turn the respect and give you kindness. Like, I just like that whole mindset. Like, I don't know, like it's just an object, but it's more than an object. And so if you respect and you take care of it, it's gonna treat you well. Like such a like just deep concept. Like it's not just cleaning again, it's about really being mindful about what you have, what is your belongings, how you treat them, how you love them, and
Yep.
like, yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of it, like, I feel like when she's talking about like respecting your belongings, like, I know she means it, but also it's almost like you're respecting yourself because, like, those are your things. So you need to respect yourself because those are the things that you chose to keep in your house or bring into your house. So, like, respect them because they're they're giving you some sort of joy or energy or they're giving something back to you. Um, so yeah, I love that she like thinks of it like that.
It's just so deep. Like we don't normally think about like just the simple things, like right. And I think it comes back to like what we've been talking about like a lot, like that blanket, it's not just like a blanket. It gives you warmth, it gives you love, like it makes you feel cozy, like it's giving everything a deeper meaning than what it really is.
Yeah, it all comes back to like gratitude. I actually saw a post. This is like on topic but off topic. I saw a post about how to teach children. Was it like self-confidence? I think it was self-confidence. I forgot what the actual thing was, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And I was like, oh, I'm just curious. I have kids, so I like, of course, start scrolling through it, and it's all about gratitude. It's about talking about what they're grateful for, at the dinner table, talking what they're grateful all the time. Just whenever we say what and that's the same thing with our possessions, like our home, our things that we're keeping here. Like when we are grateful for them, then we are going to live a better life
Yeah.
because most people are, like you said, I mean, it's easy to rush around and we're always busy and doing all the things. And it becomes just like a thing that you use rather than something that you were grateful to have,
No,
So
100%. I love that. I feel like off topic but on topic but whatever. Tell you what you're saying is like I always like have these kids that will complain like, "Oh, I want mommy and daddy to come home from work or whatever it is." And I'm like, "But mommy and daddy are at work to give you the things you love, like food and clothes and like, right? There's always a bigger meaning that sometimes we don't see unless someone opens that like idea of it."
yeah.
So I love that she really opens that idea in our brain. Like, we're not just tidying because our house needs to be tidy. We're tidying because we love our objects. We love what we have. Our stuff should fit in this house because this stuff gives us joy.
Yep. Absolutely.
Should we get into chapter 5 and then we get to tell everyone our next book?
Yes. I didn't write notes for chapter 5, but what do I have an alarm for? Oh, sorry. I highlighted stuff, so I'm just gonna like there was something that I really wanted to talk about. Um, I think the one thing that like always stands out to me, just because it's just not normal, I feel like for American culture, is how grateful she is for not just the objects, because obviously that's a big part of the book,
Uh,
but like the home, like she was talking about coming into the home and when she goes into clients' homes, like she does this silent practice where she like kneels and like thanks the home and like this whole thing of like being grateful for the house, like thanking the house. And she talks about when she comes in her own house, like every time that she comes in our house, she does like a little, thank you so much for sheltering me, or, thank you for being here for me. Because like no matter what, no matter how bad of a day you have, like your home is always there for you. And I just really like it's not something I really have ever thought of. No offense, house. I just wouldn't have thought of it on my own because I feel like in American culture we don't teach that. But the amount of gratitude that she has is like insane and amazing. And now it makes me want to like walk in my house and just thank my house because it's true. Like my house has always sheltered me. Like it's been there through a lot of tough times and hurricanes and whatever, and it's still here, like protecting me. So I just really liked that. It just gives like a good energy.
yeah.
Anything I can do to get a better energy. Um, you go on to yours, and I'm gonna look through the rest of my
Okay.
little.
So my little paragraph for chapter 5 of my terrible spelling is I need to get better of letting go instead of adding. I love that concept. Like I don't need more. I just need to let go of what I have so I can appreciate what I do have, right? That is sparking that joy. I love the idea of tidying can lead to a better confidence in your decision making. Like if you think about it, like how many times do you like second guess yourself? Like, should I keep it? Should I not? But like when you feel confident in giving away, you feel confident in other decision making. So which sometimes I'm not good at decision making. I'm usually like someone else pick. So I love that like that helps build up that confidence. It's so true. The other reason why we sometimes can let things go is like sometimes we can't let things go is because it has a future or has a past. Like we just need to like respect what it is for in the moment and not like, well, someone so and so gave it to me, or in the future I'm gonna use it for so and so. Like, how do you feel about it right now? What I want to own is how I want to live. Like I love that concept. Like what I own is how I want to live. Like, right? I wouldn't own this blanket or I wouldn't own this chair if it's not how I wanted to live. Like that's not the vibe, you know? The things we own is because of the past self. Like me and Jackie always laugh about talking about like things past self or like things future self. Like, right? So the things I own in this house is because of past self. Like I made that decision and I am the reason why it is in this house. Such an interesting concept. I like you were saying is to say hi to your home and think your house. Like it's such an interesting concept, but like if like giving gratitude for everything, like I think it just comes back to being more mindful. Like, right? Like we walk into the house, we're in a rush, we're throwing off our shoes, we're running to the bathroom, whatever it is, we're not in a gratitude mood. We're not, like we are lucky we have this house. We are lucky this house has brought us through XYZ, has given us XYZ memories. Um, Besides getting rid of things that don't spark joy, send them off with a ceremony to launch them on their new journey. Love this. Jackie has a whole story about this. I can't wait for y'all to hear it. But I think that's so like special. Like you are not like I feel like it's hard getting rid of stuff and you're like, well, I'm like losing this memory, I'm losing whatever. But like if you send it off with like this like all like thank you for everything you did, like it served its purpose. It's time for it to go. So and a clean house can affect on your like I love how she says a clean house can affect your body. Like she was saying, like it can, fix like your acne, whatever it is. And I think it's so true. Like when you have a cleaner house, you are able to live a better life. Your body is feeling better. Everything about you is better. And then last thing I wrote is don't be afraid to keep stuff you really love, even if others don't feel the same. Like I have a sweater. I remember my dad making fun of it. He's like, it looks like a shag carpet. I was like, I don't care. I love it. It's still my favorite sweater to this day.
I
So
love that.
that's my
I
little
love that.
chapter 5 notes for you.
Um, I was interested in that last part too, like when she was talking about how like, she had a lot of her clients like lost weight and like just had like better skin, better like overall health after they cleared their house. And I think like part of that, and she kind of talked this in the book, is like you're not thinking about the clutter. Like first of all, when your home is clutter free, then your mind can think clearer.
Hmm.
Like when I go out in the morning into like the main area of the house, I'm the only one awake. I'm able to like think clearer when I don't see clutter all over the table and clutter all over the counters and clutter all over the floors and like when it's semi cleared because I have two kids. So when it's semi cleared, it's just like it allows your brain to think about other stuff. And so when your house is not super cluttered, you're able to take care of your body better because you have more like time to think about it. You have
Yeah.
more like brain space to think about you and not about the house that's like consuming you. And then, you're just like overwhelmed. So you just sit down and watch a Netflix movie or whatever. And like, no hate to like Netflix and all that, but like, you're just kind of not addressing it. And I think she talked about that too, right? Like addressing it rather than, uh, like, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? Like putting it off, like kind of like
Yeah.
emotions, right? Like we would just want to like hide from our emotions and not feel them because it's hurtful to feel that. But she's like, that's why she wants you to pick up. That's kind of most of the reason why she wants to pick up each item and hold it because you're gonna maybe feel an emotion from holding it, and it's okay. But that's how you can like release that and like let the emotion go. But you have to be able to face the emotion. I don't know if any of that made sense, but hopefully it did. But I liked that part of it. Should I talk about the sweater? Is that what you're talking
Yeah.
about?
I would like to hear the sweater story. And then I think we did good. Then we can tell everyone how we truly feel about the book and tell them about the
We
next
loved it. Spoiler alert. Um, it's not like that crazy of a story. I had a sweater And it was a Mickey Mouse sweater and it was blue. And I got it, I think like 2
Two,
years ago.
yeah, 2, 3 years
Was
ago,
that?
that design.
Yeah, 2 years ago. And I just like, I had a gift card and yeah, it was Christmas of 2023. Yeah, 2023. So it was right after all the craziness happened of that year. And I don't know, I just like wanted a Mickey sweater. I don't really know why I even wanted it, but I did. So I got it. And it was kind of like my security blanket. And I wore it. Did I only have it 1 year then if I had it in 2023 or was it 2022?
I think it was
I don't
early.
know.
You've had it for a
Maybe
while though.
it's because I was like, I feel like it's longer than that. But anyway, yeah, it must have been. It was I had it for 2 years. So I got it right before all of the craziness happened in 2023. But it was like my security blanket, this sweater. Which if you've ever had something that like just made you feel good, maybe like whatever it is, then you kind of know what I'm talking about. But I just would like put it on and just be cozy and it would just make me feel happy, like in the darkness that I was going through for like a year and a half or so. And the other day, I was filming like a video for like a TikTok or something, and I looked at myself and I had been wearing that sweater, and I was like, girlfriend, first of all, like that's a large and you've lost 20 pounds. And so it's huge on you. And second of all, this part right here where it's stitched on both of them was like falling apart. And there was like a couple stains on it. It's such a cozy little sweater. And so I was like reading the book and I was like, I love this sweater, but I just got a Disney gift card and the I need to let it go. Like I love it, and I honestly I gave it like I hugged it. I folded it up really nicely before I threw it away. I folded it and I hugged it. I gave it a kiss. Like no joke. I was like I said thank you to it. I was like thank you so much for getting me through everything. And just like Marie Kondo did in the book. And then I threw it away. And then today, when I went to Disney, I used my gift card and got myself a new Mickey sweater, and it's a small. And, so it's letting something go in order to get something that is going to take you into your next
Journey.
part of your life. Yeah.
I love that. I was so
Yeah.
proud of her when she texted me that. I was like, I love how she like read the book and really related to it and was like, okay, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah. And you know what I think about? Okay, I have to say this now. You know what I think about when I'm reading the book? I always think of Toy Story. Because in Toy Story, they are alive, right? Like we watch them be alive in the movie, but the kids don't know that they're alive, but they actually have feelings and thoughts and all the things. And that's how I'm thinking about all of my possessions now. Ever since I've watched Toy Story though, I know it's going to make me sound really cuckoo, but I always have thought of toys that way. And
Oh,
so
same.
whenever my kids, like if I see a plushie on the floor, I'm like, I'm so sorry.
I always thought my stuffies like came alive when I would like leave the room. Like Toy Story
Yeah.
had me believing there.
No, but that's how I'm thinking about like a lot of the other things that are in my house now too. Like because in the book in chapter 5, she talks about how like you needed that thing in the moment that you got it. Like you got it for a reason, even if you don't, even if you didn't use it or whatever, you only used it a few times. Like you got it for a reason. But when you let it go, then it's like it knows that you don't need it, and so you let it go, and that energy can come back to you in like another item.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It was just the way she said it in the book was so good. I was like, oh,
Is it bad that I just related that to like friendships the way you just said that?
yeah.
And I
A
feel
lot of
like
the book has to do with real life, like not just tidying.
no, and
If
it's
you
so
really,
true. I think this is like just like overall a good book. Like I think it's about looking at stuff with a deeper mindset. Like I think too the fact that she talks a lot about letting go of the past and like just embracing what is now and embracing each object for what it is and like not holding on to it because of this, that, and the third. Like really just taking a moment and be like, is this what I want or not? And I feel
yeah,
like you could take like her tidying lessons and use them as life lessons.
absolutely. Yeah, she
I
did
think
such a
we
good.
would both recommend this book. I think this is definitely a reread book.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
It
we
was so
should
good.
definitely read this again in the future, like next
I think
year.
I need to meet her or something. I liked it so much. I can go watch her Netflix series. I'm sure it's still on there.
I'm sure. And I'm pretty sure she has like I think she has like a workbook too you can get. So I think she has a lot of like stuff on her website also. So definitely look into her. Definitely see what else she has if you enjoyed this book. We want to know your like thoughts. We want to know your chapter notes. We want to know your review. It doesn't have to be in like as in
Yeah.
detail by chapter like we did, but that was just kind of how we wanted to bring it to you. So if you enjoyed it that way, let us know. And this is a series, so we're not obviously we're done with this book, but we're going to continue on with our Cozy Haven book club with our next book. And our next book is super exciting. We're not gonna lie, we kind of themed our books to go with like the time of the year, the theme, like so this is a great book to start the year, getting your house tidy, getting your mind ready. So our next book is gonna be about habit, and we're gonna do The Power of Habit. And in this book is by Charles. I'm going to pronounce his last name wrong because I pronounce everyone's last name wrong. So I'm just going to spell it for you. It's Duhigg. And it says, The Power of Habit. Why do we do what we do in life and business? So this is going to be like for both. And this is a book I've read probably every year. I really like this book. And I think it really sets the tone of habits. It is a little bit longer than the last book, so we'll have this broken down into three sections and we'll read about three chapters, I think, each is what we have. So for in 2 weeks when we meet again, we will read the first chap 1 through 3 chapters. And I really hope you guys enjoy the next book as much as you enjoyed this book. And we're excited to meet again in 2 weeks to discuss the next book. And there
Yeah,
is
for
a
sure.
prologue with this book, but we're not counting that as like our discussion. That's just some fun for you to read.
Okay. If you end up like tidying your house and like want to share pictures, I like seeing people's like spaces, like their organized spaces. I love it. I don't know, it's like a weird thing. It's just me. But go to our Cozy Haven Facebook group and share. I'll share
Yeah.
some in there. I totally will. I'll
Maybe
share
we'll
some.
do like one of those like little colorful pictures and we'll be like, if you read the last book, you've tidied your house, like, right? But
Show us. Show us your drawers.
yes, show us your drawers.
Show
But
us your socks.
we're gonna continue this conversation, like you said, in the Cozy Haven Book Club or the Facebook group about Cozy Haven Book Club. We'll continue this conversation, get a little bit more in depth about this book before we start our next book. And we are so happy that you guys read along with us for our first book in our series. I still can't believe this is our second series, and it's so fun. I will say, like, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, like, me and Jackie struggled to read the last couple chapters. Like, we just got off track, so I think it's creating the habit of just like reading a couple pages a day.
Yeah.
But I think too, I would have read this entire book, and I'm not gonna lie to you, like I probably would have read up to like chapter 4 or chapter 3 and been like, all right, I'm good for now. I'll read the rest like another time in the year. So I think
Yeah.
having us holding each other accountable and having y'all hold us accountable is like really powering us through. And I think like we're meeting new goals this year. We're reaching new goals.
I know. We're gonna be like totally different people in a good way at the end of the year. I mean, we're awesome now, but we're gonna be like even
Yeah.
better.
And it's just fun to talk about these books because each book has a different topic. So,
Yeah. And if you have any books that like self-development type books that you're interested in and you want to like recommend us for like a future book that we
mhm.
do, let us know.
Yes, please let us know and let us know if you're reading something else that's not what we're reading. We want to hear about it.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next week. Well, we'll see you technically, this episode comes out on Monday. So we'll see you on Wednesday for our conversations and we'll see you in our all our social medias. And if you like this video and you like what we're doing, let us know by giving us thumbs up, comments, message, all the love that you can give. And we love you. Have a good night. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. I love you.
Bye.